You.
Me?
Yes, you. I have a task for you.
What the hell? Am I hearing ghosts now? Who are you?
My identity at the moment is of no importance. What is important is that I need you to do something for me.
Who are you?
Obey! I need you to bring me meat.
Mead?
Yes, and meat. And biscuits. And bread. And dried fruits. Oh yes, and dog biscuits and straw.
Wait, something isn't right here.
Obey!
Yes, sir. My lord. Your grace. Right away.
Sir,
Yes, my lord.
he falls for it every time.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And tonight we are going to feast, my lords.
Oh, you killed my family. Now I shall have my vengeance.
Oh, sorry. Hello, friends. My name is Arithurger, and today I'm going to talk about the Autumn Equinox. Well, the equinoxes are somewhat times of equilibrium. Day and night are matched. And after an entire year of hard labor, not just when we speak of agriculture, but also in a kind of spiritual development, the autumn equinox is the time of repose. Even in nature, when the days become shorter and the nights are longer. The autumn equinox marks the completion of the harvest, the waning powers of the sun, a farewell to summer, and also making preparations for the coming darkness. But let's start with the Mabon celebration and then the Haustablót or Volfest. Mabon is often the term referring to the celebration of the autumn equinox, and to know why this name was adopted for this particular date of the year, we must understand its meaning and where it came from. Well, the name Mabon was introduced by the neo-pagan religious movements and in the seasonal list of celebrations of the year. Well, this name comes from the god of hunting, Mabon ap Modron, or in other words, Mabon, son of Modron, a deity from the Welsh mythology. Mabon means divine sun, and he is the personification of youth. This god was kidnapped 3 days after he was born and was taken to Haunum, which is the other world, the world of the spirits and of eternal youth. We see a union here with youth and death, the beginning of life meeting the end of all things, decay, death itself. And this union is somewhat the personification of this season, letting go summer, youth, rejuvenation, light, and accept the very opposite of that which nature shows us almost in a poetic way: winter, cold, decaying of the soils, and put a stop in life. So Mabon is the celebration of the year when the days start to grow shorter and the nights and darkness will prevail till the winter time comes to an end. A preparation for the harsh winter when the crops come to an end and when people start to gather food to survive the long, dark and cold days of winter. It is also a time to burn the soil and the fields where the crops were in order to fertilize the land that will be covered by frost and snow, and at the springtime nature will do its work and the land is ready to be planted again. So the main celebration during this time consists in the need to share what the earth has given to us throughout the year. During the harvesting cycle, the fruits of the earth are shared with the community in a sort of ceremony to secure the blessings of the gods during the coming winter months. And there is a similar northern pagan tradition at this time called the Haustablót or Haustablót, and let's talk about that so you can better understand the true purpose of these celebrations and enter in the pagan spirit of the season. I often talk about blot, but what exactly is a blot? I'm afraid I've never shared that knowledge with you, so I will take this opportunity to do so. So, a blot was a Norse pagan sacrifice to the Norse gods and the spirits of the land. The sacrifice often took the form of a sacramental meal or feast. Related religious practices were performed by other Germanic peoples. This celebration wasn't made just by the Norse or, well, in general the Germanic peoples, but also throughout Europe. The Celts and the Latins did it in their own traditions. Animals and even people, well, mostly prisoners of war, were sacrificed. The word blot means to worship with sacrifice, and in this type of celebration, ritual, ceremony, the people gave their offerings such as meat, food, animals, personal objects, all to the gods, and in turn people expected the gods to give them gifts back. They asked for fertility, good health, a good life, and peace and harmony between people and nature. Now that you know what a blot is, I will tell you what the Haustablót is, this specific blot in this time of the year, between the 21st and the 24th of September. This is the Autumn Equinox, such as the Celtic Mabon. This is a time to celebrate the harvest of the crops and its ending. It is also a time to thank and to meditate. And the celebration is made with food and drink that is made with corn and wheat, and also to celebrate with cakes, cookies, meat, bread, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and so on. It isn't just a time to thank to yourself, your family, and the gods for all the hard work, blessings, and mutual help among the community, but also a time to thank and praise the Landvættir, who are the spirits of the land, and they protect and promote the flourishing of specific places where they live, which can be as small as a rock or a corner of a field or as large as a section of a country. It's important to take note that when people worship or pray to the Landvættir, or, well, to the gods in general for that matter, people are perfectly conscious that the Landvættir or the gods will not solve anything for them. They will solve things with them. The Landvættir and the gods manifest themselves through us and infuse us with the power we need to do the things we must to perform our tasks. So people didn't ask for, let's say, give me money, make my fields productive, clean my house for me. No, people ask for the power, the will, motivation to do things for themselves, just a little push to be successful in their hard work. In the northern pagan traditions, there was a celebration held in this time of the year at the beginning of the autumn equinox. It's called, as I've said, Haustablót, or the autumn sacrifice, and it is still held today by the neo-pagans who worship the gods from the Norse pantheon. As the season indicates, this is the time when the days grow shorter and darkness prevails until the winter time comes to an end. The last crops are coming to an end also, and people start to gather their food and store it to survive the long and harsh winters of Northern Europe. Now, we can try to understand the pagan mind of our ancestors by looking at the natural world itself and how that influenced them. This was also a time to make festivities around the fire and praise it, in a way, praise the fire element, because the world itself would take its colors. The fields are veiled by a cloth of tones of fire, dark yellow, red, and oranges. The skies at dusk emit red light that resembles blood, warning that the days ahead will be hard. The forests and the mountains become silent. Most animals are also store food and hide in holes or inside old trees. Others will hibernate. Ravens will go to and fro from place to place in search for those who did not survive the hazards of the season and the harsh weather. So this is a time where everything becomes much more magical and mysterious, but also the beginning of the trials that are in store for us, the ability to survive and prevail. In a way, a sort of battle between man and nature. It's exciting because we humans love to be challenged And during winter, we are being challenged by the gods themselves, who manifest their powers through nature. And it's a great honor to accept such a challenge, and better still to be victorious at the end. It gives us a certain feeling of being worthy. This is a time to pray and to thank the land Vaithir, as I've said, the spirits of nature, of the soils and of the land, to pray to the ancestors who still look over their descendants and protect them, and in some way still work the soils to provide better crops, so the family can survive in prosperity, happiness and wealth. People also prayed to the elves, who work along with the land spirits to maintain the land fertile and the soils rich. People also pray to the god Freyr and Freya, the gods of fertility, because the land itself also needs fertility. It needs to be prepared to be planted again with new seeds when the winter comes to an end. And in conclusion, with hard work, perseverance, patience and love, the land gives us so much, enough to survive and live with health. And a gift always calls for a gift, so we in turn must give something to the land, a personal object or food, or the mead that is passed amongst the folk in the drinking horn, which will be poured into the land, so our ancestors and the gods themselves may also drink with us, giving to them what we can create with the things the earth gives us, with their blessings. People dance and sing tales of old, to remember the deeds of our ancestors, and so we might find inspiration and strength to continue. Alright friends, thank you so much for watching, and as I've said in the previous video, during this month of September I will be in archaeological excavations, so if I take a little bit longer to answer your questions or to give you any kind of feedback, you know why. I will be a little bit busy. So once again, thank you so much for watching. All the links to my social media are down below at the description. See you on the next video, and as always, thank you for today.